Brian, let's talk about the significance of Brian Laundrie's sister, Cassie, because on the 17th of September, she gave an interview to ABC, and she said those words that she hadn't been able to talk to her brother. Walk me through why this is so interesting now.
So first of all, Ashleigh, I want to say that we have all been trying to talk to Cassie Laundrie. We all tried to interview her. The only person she talked to was ABC News. And when she did that interview last month, she said that she hadn't talked to her brother. And ABC News reported she had not talked to her brother since he returned to Florida without Gabby. So that was what we were sort of under the assumption of for the last several weeks. Well, now we have learned from the Laundrie family attorney, Mr. Bertolino, according to him, he says that that is not the case, that Cassie has actually seen her brother 2 times. The first time on September 1st, when the attorney says that Brian went to Cassie's house and met with her. And the second time is September 6th, when Mr. Bertolino says Cassie was at that campground where Brian and his parents were, Fort DeSoto, where the entire family was having a camp out.
All right, so in that light, Brian, I want to play that really significant piece of Cassie's interview. Here's the rub. I can't find anywhere online. All of our producers have looked everywhere online through ABC's websites for the actual transcript and the actual raw interview. There are pieces and snippets, and I'm going to play you the snippet. There is no question from the reporter included, so I can't give you that. But here is the reporter who asked questions of Cassie Laundrie on the 17th of September. And this was her answer about not having been able to talk to her brother. Take a look.
I haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him. Yeah. I've cooperated every way that I can. I wish I had information where I would give more. This is all I have is I gave to the police.
Okay, so Brian, the statement that Steve Bertolino, the family lawyer, gave to you was 2-part. We had just showed that first part that said Cassie saw her brother, Brian, on September 1st when he stopped by her home, and again on September 6th at Fort DeSoto Park. And then it went on to say this: law enforcement agencies are well aware of these dates. Any prior communication by Cassie that does not reflect these dates is simply a difference of relating an answer to a question misinterpreted by Cassie or poorly posed by the inquirer. So we're now to take the words of Cassie, which are, I haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him, as either a bad question from the reporter or a confused answer from Cassie. Either way, I don't know how much more clear. I haven't been able to talk to him, but she was with him on the 1st and she was with him on the 6th.
And what's important to point out, Ashleigh, is you played that clip from Cassie, but in the ABC Good Morning America piece, again, the only news outlet that actually spoke to Cassie, the reporter before that soundbite said that Cassie had not seen her brother since he had come back from his trip and been back in Florida. So that is what ABC News is reporting. You mentioned it. We've been trying to get the transcript. I mean, we would love to see the raw interview and be able to sort of go through it ourselves. Also, I would have loved to interview Cassie myself. We've tried. Other news outlets have tried. Well, we're basing this on ABC News reporting, and now the lawyer is saying that that is not actually the case.
So in all of this scrutiny, Brian, I think we found something else that's a bit troubling. And this is going to take some thinking. So folks at home, put on your timeline hat. That interview was given on September 17th. That is a Thursday. 2 days before that interview, Brian apparently vanished. So Brian has now been gone for 2 days. And it isn't until the next day that the Laundries are going to tell the police this. But let's just think for a moment. Mr. and Mrs. Laundrie have not seen their son for 1 night, and for 2 nights. They never called the sister to say, has he gone to your house? He didn't come home from the swamp. Now, with that as the context, I want to play this next piece of that interview because, and I'm going to have to read the question for you, because otherwise it's a little hard to hear it from the reporter. But the reporter said, And when you just heard the news that in general, that she's missing and that your brother is back here, and Cassie answers. So now let's watch that clip. And remember, her brother has been missing for 2 days, okay? That's when this interview is being taken. Take a look.
And when you just heard the news, just in general, like that she's missing and that your brother's back here, I don't understand. As much as everybody else, I'm learning everything from the news, too.
Brian, that is very troubling. Nobody knew at that point that Brian Laundrie had been on the run for 2 days. And I'm to assume that the sister doesn't know either. Mom and Dad aren't worried enough about where Brian is spending his nights that they don't call her and say, is he at your house? Are we really to believe that this woman is telling the truth when she says, and let me be clear here, the question was, and when you heard the news that just in general, she's missing and your brother is back here, I don't understand. As much as everybody else I'm learning from the news. This is really disquieting.
Well, and let's take a step back even farther here, Ashleigh, because I was thinking about this for the last couple of hours. The lawyer is now admitting that the sister Cassie had Brian over the house on September 1st and then was at the campground on the camping trip. So weren't they all discussing where is Gabby? I mean, the sister was there with Brian 2 times, according to the attorney. I mean, how did this, were there conversations? Did this come up? Brian, my brother, you have come back and your fiance is not here and you have her van? I don't quite understand that part of it.
And I love her, and my children love her, and boy, I hope she comes back. I find it all very, I don't know. I have an expression that I use, and that is, I smell a rat. I just do not like any of this. This just reeks of reporter instinct that jumps into overdrive when you hear people speaking like that, knowing of the circumstances now that we didn't know then. Okay, Brian, the other thing I wanted to